out your personal information over the phone. Good job. 마지막 한 번만 더요. Never give out your personal information over the phone.
자, 그런 개인정보가 결국에는 신원도용에 사용될 수가 있죠. 신원도용이요? 그렇죠. Identity theft. It can be used for identity theft. Be used for 어떤 용도로 사용될 것이다라는 얘기죠. It can be used for identity theft. 자, 신원도용의 목적으로 사용될 수 있다. 이 문장 같이 연습하시죠.
It can be used for identity theft. It can be used for identity theft. It can be used for identity theft. 자, 그러면요. 세 번만 identity theft. 신원도용. 자, 연습해 볼까요? Identity theft. Identity theft. One more time. Identity theft. Good job.
자, 내 친구 중에 한 명이 고생했다. 그런 신원도용이라든가 보이스피싱 때문에 괜히 잘못해서 고생을 했다. 자, one of my friends got into trouble. 이렇게 하시면 되겠죠. get into trouble. 뭔가 고생을 하거나 문제를 겪다라는 뜻이 됩니다. 같이 연습하시죠.
One of my friends got into trouble. One of my friends got into trouble. Two more times. One of my friends got into trouble. One of my friends got into trouble.
자, 그러면 우리 대화 내용을요. 마지막으로 한번 들어볼 텐데요. 대본 내용을 직접 드리겠습니다. 핵심 문장 표시가 되어 있고요. 두 번씩 실제 대화 속에서 한번 따라해 보시는 연습입니다.
Okay, listen carefully and repeat the key sentences out loud. Here we go. Let's listen to the dialogue one last time.
I got a weird call yesterday. I got a weird call yesterday.
What was it about?
It was something about my credit card bill.
You don't even have a credit card, do you?
No, I think it was one of those voice phishing calls. No, I think it was one of those voice phishing calls.
I guess you're right. Be careful.
Yeah, you never give out your personal information over the phone. Yeah, you never give out your personal information over the phone.
Exactly. It can be used for identity theft. It can be used for identity theft.
One of my friends got into trouble because of that. One of my friends got into trouble because of that.
Really? What happened?
All right, what's coming up next?
Coming up next is Tell Me, where we get to meet Tammy, and she'll be asking this question today. Have you ever experienced identity theft?
I'm very curious as to what our foreigners may say about this topic. 진짜 신원도용을 당해본 그런 경험이 있는지
네.
자, 이것도 정말 어떤 이야기를 해주실지 궁금하네요.
물론 대답이 지금 no였으면 좋겠긴 하지만요.
그러니까요.
자, 우리의 레슨을 위해서는 대답이 yes였으면 좋겠습니다.
네.
Okay.
자, 그러면 현장에 가서요. 이 주제에 대해서 우리 관광객 여러분은 어떤 얘기를 하시는지 한번 들어보도록 하겠습니다. Let's take you to
Tell me.
Tell me.
Hi there everyone, 여러분 안녕하세요. I'm Tammy on Tell Me. Now today for Unit 157, our question is, have you ever experienced identity theft? Have you ever experienced identity theft? Well, I haven't, but I've seen it in lots of movies. Have you ever experienced identity theft? Let's go ask other people and see if they've experienced it. Alright, let's go! Hi, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
What's your name and where are you from?
My name's David. I'm from Boston in the U.S.
Okay, David. Well, today our question is, have you ever experienced identity theft?
In a couple of ways I have. Okay. I had my credit card stolen once.
Ooh.
Well, actually not the actual card, but they were able to find the information somehow through some online transaction that I did with a card.
Really?
And
wow.
Then they ended up, they were trying to purchase probably about 50,000 spare parts for automobiles from somewhere in Africa. And
very random.
Very random, yes.
Okay.
And my bank called me up and tried to verify that this was actually a legitimate transaction. I said, no, absolutely not.
Right.
So we were able to intercept it, but I had purchased something using the card. I assume that's how they got the information. So it's pretty scary how quickly that can happen.
Wow. Yeah, you never really hear about this very often, especially because using credit cards is just a daily thing that we always do. And I just have to ask, what kind of transaction were you making at the time being?
I really don't know. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what or how they stole my information. So there was. I mean, again, with credit cards, you're protected by the issuing authorities.
Okay.
So even if you didn't do or if you can prove that you didn't do the transaction,
Okay.
they'll cover to a certain amount. But especially when you're entering information on a website that's not secure
Right.
or wirelessly that someone can intercept,
Exactly.
it's very easy. I mean, in the States, Social Security information, which is basically the sort of your DNA of your identity,
Right.
can be captured very easily. And once you have that information, then you can get a birth certificate,
Okay.
and then and on and on and on. Then suddenly you can capture that individual's identity, and
Right.
you can get a driver's license. You can start opening credit accounts, and it happens
Such
all
a
the time.
scary thing.
Yes.
My goodness. So when you were making this transaction, was it on a website or were you just how exactly how
It was on a website.
Okay, a website,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I was online. I was purchasing something.
Okay.
I'm assuming. Again, I don't know
Right.
exactly how they got the information, but that's
Exactly.
how I'm assuming how they got it. And luckily, my bank had the wherewithal to realize that I wasn't, purchasing 50,000, spark plugs from Nigeria or wherever.
Right. Very lucky guy there because the bank actually noticed
Yeah.
something was wrong right there. And, what are some things that we can do to maybe prevent these identity theft incidents?
Well, yeah, you got to protect your information. So,
true,
I mean,
yeah.
whether it's online, whether it's even, a lot of times you get invitations in the mail to open accounts, and there's
Right.
information on that. So you got to be careful in terms of what you're throwing away. So you just really have to be very careful with your information because right now, especially, it seems it's very easy for someone to capture that.
Okay. And nowadays I usually like watching movies, and I feel like every other movie that comes out in the States is about, having their identity stolen from them. Is it something that happens often in the States?
All the time. All the time. Yeah. I mean, you hear about it all the time that people, especially through Social Security numbers.
Well, we just had a great conversation with David from the U.S. We talked about identity theft